He's still my heart.
Monica Collins, or Jim Baker, or Terry Knopf. Or,
Monica's here.
oh my God, we're surrounded. It was not that easy, you know? No, they were all over the place. Where's Monica?
Where's Monica?
Hey, come up here and say you're sorry. You have to hug her anyway, right? Come on, Monica.
That is fabulous. What was it? No, I'm glad you did. I didn't think Bob was coming. He was very coy about coming.
It's not true, Terry.
And Emily said that he was, Susan said he wasn't.
See, I saw her outside. She just lied. Nothing new, believe me.
Yeah. Would you like to sit?
I'm going to.
Would you like a drink?
Yes. No, you're fine.
Are you sure? We have lots of hors d'oeuvres.
No, I'm fine.
Well,
Just happy to be in the book. In fact, is that true?
What was that?
Oh, you got
Anyway, despite our various ailments, we are grateful and proud to be celebrating Boston's golden age of television here at WGBH, which just happens to be the country's finest PBS station, and on what is a glorious day. People ask me whether Boston might yet have another golden age of television. Who knows? But if Donald Trump could be elected president of these United States, it shows that anything can happen. Thank you very much. I also want to introduce, I just got a glimpse of his handsome face. Where is Tom Bergeron? Tom Bergeron.
Are you going to dance?
Come up here. This is Gabriel Tom. Born and raised in wants a picture of us. Thank you. Tom, as you may know, don't go away. Tom got his start in Boston. He was born in April, and then hosted very successfully People Are Talking, which was a very popular talk show. And then he was lured to the big leagues and became eventually the host of ABC's Dancing with the Stars, including other shows, which would include which?
Video, funniest video.
I was reminding Terry when we were exchanging emails that one of my favorite items in a column she wrote was when she said that Barry Nolan and I had interchangeable heads.
I was making a point about it.
I'm not sure the point was really that well made.
Well, don't go away,
Okay.
because Tom, did you come from Hollywood now? Where are you coming from? Oh, that's not bad. Oh, God. I wanted to say.
You have a. Were you going to camp? Were you going to?
Oh, let's go to this.
Oh, yes. Is Mark shut? Oh, did you get that picture? No. Tom, go here. I have something for you. In honor of your gracing. Now I'm
All the way
speechless.
from Connecticut.
I wanted to crown you Boston's homecoming king.
Oh, wow. I can keep it? Oh, good. I'll wear it everywhere. Thank you.
It's too small for this.
No, not really, no. Thank you.
And now, where's Jack here? Am I on time, by the way? All right. I I wasn't sure whether you'd want to hear a reading, but, oh, you know what? Susan Warnick left her book. Would anybody else like it? No. I'll give it to you at a discount. All right, it's customary for a book author to, is there Harvey? Harvey got the station to give him off the 6 so he could be here. And where is your comrade in arms, Dick?
Right here.
All right.
Together again.
That's wonderful. Okay. It's always hard to decide what do you want to read. It depends on the crowd. Should I read something about the wars between the stations? Should I read what was for me a highlight when Barry Shulman said, you don't know how hard it is to host a talk show. You should come to People Are Talking.
I challenged you.
He challenged me to. And my editor, is John here, my long-suffering editor? He's not here. I never did like him. Oh, I did. We had a somewhat difficult relationship. But what was I saying?
You posted People Are Talking. You were going to read, pick where you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I thought when Barry, thank you very much. When Barry challenged me to take over for Nancy Merrill, my editor.
Tell them why.
Pardon me?
Tell them why.
Because you said I'd be great. No. You said it's harder than it. Go
Didn't you
ahead.
have a problem with Nancy that day?
Did I have a problem?
No, didn't we at BZ have a problem with Nancy?
You mean when she wrote her review with me?
Or she cut her hair or something?
What happened?
Well, it's a long story. The book's already published.
Well, the episode is in the book. So my long-suffering editor, John Lehman, said to Channel 4, why don't we have Nancy review Terry's performance? And she did. And it's in the book. You can read what she said. Don't think she liked it. Anyway, I decided what I would read involves war stories, you know. And Monica, and I assume Jack Thomas is not here. Being a critic, the late and great Pulitzer Prize winning, thank you, Bill Henry from the Boss, there's Linda, nice to see you. The late great, oh, I've got to concentrate, sorry. The late great Pulitzer Prize winning critic, Bill Henry from the Globe, once said that being a critic means not caring what anybody thinks about you. And he really was right. I'm sure Monica would agree too. You gotta have a tough skin. And I'm sure every critic has their own war stories. In some quarters I was known as the bitch for the backwater paper. At Channel 56, Jerry Walsh, I was known as Terry Ann Knife. And recently, when I was putting the finishing touches on the book, I was having a chat with Phyllis Eliasberg, who, by the way, intended to come but canceled at the last minute. She's not feeling well. And when I said to Phyllis, you know, your news director, Jeff Rosser, and I disagreed about so many things, but we really had a very cordial relationship. And she turned to me and said, cordial? He wanted to behead you. And this was before ISIS. So, with that in mind, I'm going to share one of the interesting episodes I had. It involves a fellow by the name of Mike Barnacle. Are you ready? This story has not been told before. At the time, 1986, that Mike was doing double duty as a Boston Globe columnist and on-air commentator for Channel 5's news magazine Chronicle. One part charmer, one part con man, Mike was, in short, the kind of challenging subject I loved to write about. And so I did, with a profile in Boston Magazine called The Bad Boy of Boston Television. On one hand, I found him to be colorful, quotable, irreverent, and funny. A big lug of a guy. But he could also be foul-mouthed and have a slightly menacing, don't mess with me air about him. Indeed, throughout his Globe and television career, he had gotten away with much, thumbing his nose at authority. You know, he once went to Vietnam because the Globe wouldn't let him and filed stories for the Boston Herald. And Tom Winship did not fire him. He led a charmed life. And despite the fact that he was dogged by charges of plagiarism and fabrication, which only late in the game caught up with him. I wonder what happened to him. Well, you can see him every night on MSNBC.
Still around.
For all his charms, I would learn firsthand that he was something of a fraud. Shortly before my article went to press, a Boston fact checker called Barnacle to verify some dates and facts, which was standard practice for reputable magazines. I suddenly got a call from him, angrily complaining about being fact-checked. The conversation was short, with an abrupt ending, when he shouted at full blast into my ear, "Fuck you! You deserve to be working at the Quincy Patriot Ledger." And then he hung up. His use of the word Quincy was deliberate and was intended to make me feel small, even though the South Shore paper was well respected and had long ago dropped the word Quincy from its masthead. In fact, Bill Ketter, the executive editor, was even president of the American Society of Newspaper Editors. But what really made the incident so bizarre was that Barnacle's anger surfaced before, not after, the article had even been published. I confess I was shaken. There was something so thuggish and disrespectful about his outburst. It was a reminder that behind every bully is a scared little kid. No, I have one more. It takes a little while to find my place these days. Looking back and keeping things in perspective, I'm reminded of the time I went to a terrific baseball art exhibit at the old Institute of Contemporary Art on Boylston Street in Boston. My favorite painting, a real charmer, showed an umpire